Dricus Du Plessis' UFC career has been a battle against the odds. He's been counted out, bruised, battered, and even a bit sloppy at times in his fights, yet he's always found a way to win all 8 of his fights, including 2 title bouts. Yet, the guy's record isn't spotless. He did fail to not lose a couple of times. So, let's break those 2 lapses down. Dricus Du Plessis stepped into the MMA world in 2013, but his debut ended on a sour note when his opponent went down with a knee injury.
That game that's surely a testament to the training that he's receiving.
That's over. That's not good for Tesla Querbel. Dricus Du Plessis gets victory though.
Though he won, it wasn't the way he wanted to. So DDP quickly moved on to his next challenge and dispatched him with a rear naked choke.
Rukuli is trying to get back to his feet. He gets the rear naked.
Shades of the first fight! Shades of the first fight, turn!
Du Plessis' 3rd MMA fight was an absolute war, but he still managed to have the final say with another rear naked choke.
Big shots, Dricus Du Plessis, but Rafael Adesanya again reversed. There it is, locks it up, cinches it in. That is so deep and so tight. Look at him, just wrenching.
The rising middleweight's 4th professional fight was a dominant display of grappling and ground and pound, as he destroyed his opponent with brutal elbows from top.
That replay, once he got that reversal with that takedown, that's when his elbows work that ground and pound. Eventually, what Dricus did very well was able to get that side mount.
With 4 dominant wins in his back pocket, Du Plessis was ready to chase gold as he stepped in to challenge Gareth McClellan for the Extreme Fighting Championship middleweight title. McClellan came into the fight with a 10-2 record, making him the far more seasoned fighter, and it showed as he controlled Du Plessis with wrestling for the first 2 rounds before sealing the deal with a guillotine choke and handing the young prospect a harsh reality check.
The guillotine choke, an arm in guillotine, and he's pulling for all his worth.
Trying here is McClellan.
It looks like Dricus is out, and he's out!
Gareth McClellan.
Props to Du Plessis for staying true to his tough guy persona, as he chose to take a nap like a real savage instead of tapping. Speaking of tapping, please tap that subscribe button and turn on those notifications before we move forward. Now, after a heartbreaking loss like that, DDP knew he had to level up if he wanted the belt. So he went back to the drawing board, sharpened his skills, and came back stronger than ever, finishing his opponent in the first round with a rear naked choke.
This is not good against Daniel. It's a bad spot for Daniel to be in.
This could be one of the biggest upsets.
And he does it!
Dricus Du Plessis defeats the legend.
In his next fight, Du Plessis moved down to welterweight, where he secured back-to-back wins to earn a shot at the 170-pound title against Martin van Staden.
He's landing big shots.
This fight's incredible!
He's got the guillotine.
This might be it, Turk! This
He's
might be it!
cranking. Is this it? He's got him trapped. Minute 3 seconds remaining, and he gets the victory!
Dricus Du Plessis!
Goodness!
A few fights later, Du Plessis battled British loudmouth Yannick Bahati for a second go at the middleweight title. There was a lot of animosity between the two heading into the fight, and it all boiled over in the pre-fight face-off when Bahati slapped Du Plessis. But when it was time to back up his antics, Bahati crumbled under the bright lights as Du Plessis trapped him in a vicious guillotine choke and sent him into darkness to become a 2-division EFC champion.
Bahati's looking for the takedown. Du Plessis got a hold of his neck.
Oh my goodness, here we go! That's a wrap. I think he's got it. He's gonna tap it.
Du Plessis has it.
He is too strong.
After conquering South Africa, Du Plessis took his talents to Poland to challenge rising star Roberto Soldic for the KSW welterweight title, which he won in less than 2 rounds.
Again, looking for that left. Oh, he got rocked.
Down goes the champion with a big shot that came from nowhere. Du Plessis in there, it's all over! Roberto Soldic!
The immediate rematch between these 2 prospects went down 6 months later, and once again, they traded bombs for 2 rounds. But this time, Soldic had the last laugh, returning the favor with hellish left hands that sent Du Plessis straight into the abyss.
Standing off Soldic, just waiting to opportune himself, that big left hand. Oh, and that was a left hook that finished everything.
it's all over!
A few fights later, Du Plessis signed with the UFC and gradually made his way up the rankings, with wins against Marcus Perez, Trevin Giles, and Brad Tavares. It wasn't until his win against Darren Till that people finally started to take him seriously.
You're a nice South African guy, so I love you, lad.
After taking out Till, Du Plessis took out another veteran in the form of Derek Brunson, and his UFC record now stood at 5-0. That's when he decided to call out the reigning champion, Israel Adesanya, a Nigerian-born fighter who spent most of his life in New Zealand. Now, why is that little detail about Izzy important? Because, according to DDP, Adesanya, along with Kamaru Usman and Francis Ngannou, weren't real African champions.
Did those belts ever go to Africa? As far as I know, it came to America and New Zealand. I'm going to take a belt to Africa.
That was a carefully aimed shot that landed flush and stirred up a storm.
You gotta choose your words wisely, but I don't want to give him no clout. But if he does work, and I pray to God he keeps winning, I will gladly drag his carcass across South Africa.
If Du Plessis was trying to talk himself into an instant title shot, it backfired badly, as right after those bold claims, he was booked against the division's contender killer, Robert Whittaker.
I'm going to try and dismantle him. I'm going to try and create holes and opportunity that I can exploit to take the win.
At UFC 290, Du Plessis once again proved he was unbreakable. Despite struggling early and facing adversity, he roared back to score one of the biggest knockouts of his career, cementing himself as the division's #1 contender.
This is my African brother right here. Let's go. What's up? Let's go. Yeah. What's up? Yeah. Don't do. Yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother.
Following the face-off, the UFC wanted Du Plessis to fight Adesanya at UFC 293, but he declined the offer due to injury. Instead, Sean Strickland stepped in and battered Izzy for 5 rounds, pulling off one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. 4 months later, Du Plessis secured a title shot against the newly crowned champ.
I don't give a about that belt. I just want to make motherfuckers bleed. And Dricus is the next one who's gonna bleed. I can't wait.
Du Plessis too had a few things to say regarding Strickland's dark past with an abusive father.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit out of you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back.
The two went to war at UFC 297, battling for 5 grueling rounds, with Du Plessis edging out a razor-close decision to become the UFC middleweight champion, against all odds. Almost 6 months later, Israel Adesanya announced his return from a lengthy break, setting up a highly anticipated middleweight title grudge match with Du Plessis at UFC 305.
I just want to show you guys how great I am. And he said himself, like, he has the belt to prove that he's great. I was great without the belt. I was great before the belt, and I'll be great after the belt. I'm Israel Adesanya, and I'll remind you guys that I'm the last stylebender.
Du Plessis wasn't having any of it and hit Adesanya with perfectly timed verbal jabs, reducing the former champ to tears in front of the world.
You're saying that I made it
shut
about
the fuck
culture?
up. You don't even know anything about my
culture.
story. You have no idea who the fuck I am.
I don't care about your story. I don't care about your story.
Listen, my father and myself had to wake up at 4 a.m. and clean the banks while my mom studies to be a nurse. You don't know my story. Man, don't speak of my story if you don't know my story.
I don't care.
I will show you who you are Sunday. So right now, shut the
can't
up. I do this for my family. I do this for the people I love, and I'll fight for you forever. I swear to God. Watch this. Look, I'm a fucking human being. I am a man. I can cry and whoop your ass at the same time. I feel the love from the crowd. First time I fought here, 221. That was February 2018. That was me making my dream come true. Sunday, I'm gonna fucking kill your dreams, bitch.
Izzy looked mentally broken, and it showed in the fight. The battle was competitive early, but by the 4th round, Du Plessis' strength, power, and relentless pressure took over, and in round 4, he rocked Adesanya, dragged him to the mat, and sealed the deal with a rear naked choke. In his second title defense, Du Plessis battled a familiar face in Sean Strickland, who was once again loud and rowdy, going as far as saying that he'd fight to death.
The man has a cinder block forehead. You see him the next day. The guy can take damage. We're probably gonna have a 5-round war. I'm gonna try to put his ass down. He's gonna try to put my ass down. one of us is gonna get fucked up. It ain't gonna be me. To the f***ing death. I think the Dutchman can agree. We're gonna put on a war, and we're gonna try to f*** each other up, and that's a promise we both can make you guys.
Inside the cage, however, DDP was just too good for Strickland to handle, as the South African pushed the pace and battered the American for 5 rounds to win a comfortable decision. Du Plessis even broke Strickland's nose.
Yeah, dude, I broke it, and I was like, well, in the movies, they just set it back into place.
I saw you trying, and I was like, wrong way, man. Wrong way.
No, I felt it. I said it, and the crazy thing is, you shot at me again, and dude, your nose just touched in. You fucking broke it.
I saw it when the broke.
Hey, at the end of the day, man, we talk about shit, but you're a bad motherfucker. That's the one we can get down.
With Adesanya and Strickland out of the equation, there was only one person on DDP's mind: undefeated wrestling monster Khamzat Chimaev, who Du Plessis was booked to face at UFC 319. Heading into the fight, Du Plessis was extremely confident, saying that he's ready to kill or die in there.
You have said you're prepared to kill your opponent in there. Do you think Khamzat Chimaev is prepared to do the same?
To kill me? I certainly hope so, because if he's not, he's in for the worst night of his life.
Khamzat was confident as well, as he believed it was finally his time to take over.
Is his wrestling as good as yours?
Know already, guys, who is the best, guys. It's my time. Take over as UFC, man.
When the cage door closed, only one man backed his words up. It was Khamzat who dominated Du Plessis for 5 rounds with takedowns and ground control to win by a massive score differential.
So how does it feel that this actually happened for you tonight?
Feels good, amazing. Happy for that.
Although the performance wasn't what fans are used to from Chimaev, he certainly answered many of the questions people had about him.
I don't care what people think about doing my thing. So, like you said, how many strikes I landed on him, how many takedowns I has there. So, I didn't guess out. So, now they know.
With Khamzat becoming the champ and in such a dominant fashion, DDP will now have to rack up some wins before claiming a shot at the middleweight belt again. Will he be able to rise after his first major fall in the UFC? And can Sean O'Malley do the same? Watch our video on the times O'Malley lost to find out.